Now, as you probably realise, there are lots of weird traditions about, aren't there? And weird superstitions. But some of the superstitions, well, they're a bit more sensible. They make a bit more sense than others. For instance, there's a saying, you mustn't walk underneath a ladder, otherwise it will bring you bad luck. Well, that kind of makes sense. It kind of makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, at this very moment, I've got a neighbour, just out there. He's painting the front of his house. If I walked under his ladder, there's a very good chance I would end up with little freckles of magnolia paint on me. So walking under a ladder, completely fine with that one. Another one, don't open an umbrella inside the house. Well, that's meant to bring Brad luck. What's Brad luck? Is that the brother of Brad Pitt? No, it isn't. It's meant to bring bad luck. Say that really quickly. Meant to bring bad luck. Yeah, good. It's sometimes meant to make it rain as well. But that's not the real reason why it's dangerous to open up an umbrella in the house. Not dangerous, but silly. It is a dangerous object, isn't it? It's sharp. There's potential risk and hazard with an umbrella. I mean, if you were in that story in the first week, the crowded house, and you opened up an umbrella, can you imagine all the people getting, little spokes inside their backs and inside their knees and poking in their armpits and things like that. So never open an umbrella inside the house. It's just dangerous. And another one, don't put your shoes on the table. Well, that is just plain obvious, isn't it? It's unhygienic to put your shoes on the table. Why would you do it? But some of them are just a little bit on the weird side. For instance, don't do your knitting outside. Why not? Well, apparently, if you do your knitting outside, when winter comes, it's going to be much longer than it needs to be. Yeah, so don't knit outside. If you break an egg, you've got to smash up the eggshell. This one I particularly like. If you leave half an eggshell on the side, witches will take them, turn them into little witchy boats, and they'll sail across the ocean like this. So always smash your eggshells. And another one I particularly like is, if you've washed your feet in a tub of water, throw the water away as soon as you can. Yeah. Now you'd think, well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? I mean, if you leave a bucket or a tub full of water on the floor at night time, and you go to bed and you're having nice pleasant dreams, you're snoozing away, and you wake up in the middle of the night because you're thirsty or you need to have a wee, like that, and you don't want to put the lights on because you don't want to wake anyone, and you're half asleep and you're walking down the corridor, and you put your foot in it, kaplosh, splash, water everywhere, soggy carpet. You don't want to do that. You would think that was the reason, wouldn't you? But no. The reason to get rid of your feet water is so you don't invite the Feetwater Fairies into your house, and if they come into your house, they'll stay there for a very, very long time. Weird, huh? Told you today's going to get weird. Anyway, this is a story about a widow called Ethel and her daughter called Bethel. Ethel and Bethel worked very, very hard indeed. They lived on a farm, just the two of them. She was the widow, as I said, and she only had one daughter, Bethel. They worked hard at milking the cow, they had to feed the chickens, and they had to cut all the barley. And whenever it was summertime, they worked so hard. They worked every single hour of the day. My goodness me, they worked hard with the sun beating down on their backs and using the tools to cut the barley, the scythes, and carrying the buckets like this. Their hands really, really dried out. Oh, it was such hard work. And one summer, they'd just finished cutting the last bit of barley. They tied it up, they took it into the barn, and they went into their house, and flump went Ethel into her chair. Flump went Bethel into her chair. They just looked at each other like this. Oh, such hard work, but at least we finished. My goodness me. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, hang on. He's doing two women, and one of them could be an old woman. Why isn't he doing the old woman thing? The little old lady thing? Well, you've got to be patient, my friends, with these things. Be patient. So there they were, Ethel on one chair, Bethel on another, just staring at each other, breathing heavily. Ethel said, I'm too tired. I'm just too tired. She had a slightly higher voice, let's say. I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I'm too tired to cook a meal. Oh my goodness me, we've been working hard today. I'm too tired to cook a meal. Oh my goodness me. Oh, I'm too tired as well, said Bethel. Oh, what are we gonna do? That was just the sort of evening when they could really have done with a ready meal, a microwave, and a good film to watch. Oh, haven't we got it so lucky these days? But no, they just sat there. Oh, what are we going to do? I know, said Bethel. I'll just cut us some bread and some cheese and we'll just sit here and eat it. Is that all right with you, Ethel? Yes, Bethel. Even though they were mum and daughters, they liked this sort of way of calling each other Ethel and Bethel. It sounded quite good to them. It was a bit like ping pong. Ping pong, ping pong, Ethel, Bethel, Ethel, Bethel, like that. Oh, yes, let's just sit here. Oh, I'm also too tired to take a bath, said Ethel. Me too, said Bethel. I don't smell so bad. Hang on. No, I don't smell so bad, but my feet are a bit dirty. I don't want to be like that king, the king with dirty feet, the king with stinky feet. What was he called? Oh yeah, Barappa-dappa-da. I don't want to be like him. I'll just wash my feet. I'll get the bucket, we'll fill it up with water, and we'll just wash our feet. How about that? All right, said Bethel, and Bethel went off to get the bread and the cheese, and Ethel filled up the tub with water, with warm water. They dunked their feet in. Oh, they just sat there. Oh, thank goodness for that. Oh, I say, that was hard work. Well, they were chatting away with their feet in the water, munching on their bread and the cheese, which, of course, was the most delicious meal they'd had in ages. When you're hungry like that, when you're tired like that, just cheese and water and bread, they're just the best things ever. So, chatting away, and as the light outside began to fade, remember the days were long, it was summer, midsummer. As the light was fading, the chatting slowed down. The yawns started to come in. And the water in the bucket just went cold. Silence. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock was the only sound they could hear of the grandfather clock. Come on, let's go to bed, said Ethel, and they dragged themselves out of the bucket of water, and they dragged themselves up the stairs. In fact, there's a very good word for this. They schlepped up the stairs. Yeah, they schlepped up the stairs, and they went into the bedrooms. Ethel's bed over here, Bethel's bed over there. Ethel crashed down onto her bed, crash. Bethel crashed down onto her bed, crash. Oh, and straight away they fell asleep. Ethel snoring like this, and Bethel snoring like this. And they were sleeping so heavily that they didn't realise something. They didn't realise what they had forgotten to do. I think you know. I think I know. They hadn't emptied the Feetwater. How irresponsible were they? Well, this, my friends, is where things start to get wonky. So this is what you've been waiting for. Time for the wonky hat. Da da da! This is the hat of night and day. It is the hat of midnight, where one day ends and another day begins, almost like a tag team, to me, to you, to me, to you. Midnight is the time for magic and wonkiness. If things are ever going to get wonky, you can guarantee it will be midnight when this happens. So, Ethel and Bethel were snoring loudly. And they were snoring so loud they didn't hear the scratching at the door. And they were snoring so loudly that they also didn't hear the voices, the little voices.
Feetwater, Feetwater, spill on the floor. Feetwater, Feetwater, open the door. Feetwater, Feetwater, let us all in. We need to dance and to play and to spin.
Ethel and Bethel just carried on snoring. And they were snoring so loudly they didn't hear the tub try and tip itself over. Splosh! They didn't hear the water splishing and sploshing its way across the kitchen floor. They didn't hear the water splishing and sploshing its way up the door. They didn't hear the water splishing and sploshing its way around the door handle. But they did hear the little people coming.
Woohoo! Hey! Woohoo! Hey! Crisp and wallop! Woohoo! Ying tang ying tang ying tang ying ying tang ying like po! Fiddly diddly fiddly diddly fiddly diddly ringy diddly lingy diddly lingy diddly nee! Crisp and wallop! Ah! Woohoo! Hey! Woohoo!
The little people, the elves, the pixies, the leprechauns, my goodness me, all of them fairies. But there are two types of fairies, my friends. There are the fairies with wings that are all sort of calm and flitter, and they always wear pinks and emerald greens and lime greens as well, and sky blues. Not those sort of fairies. These are the other types of fairies who are look like us, but they're much, much smaller, and they're quite often barefoot. And they're barefoot, they've got big beards, they've got lots of hair. They wear lots of greens, lots of browns, they wear bonnets and they wear caps. And they're nearly always barefoot. And do you know what else they have? They carry spinning wheels around with them. Spinning wheels and bags of wool. Now I know that is weird, isn't it? We've talked about this before though, haven't we? We've talked about how magical people, little people like Rumpelstiltskin, are very, very good at spinning. But why you would want to spin in someone else's house on their wet kitchen floor, I've got no idea. I told you this was going to be a wonky story, didn't I? But there they were. These strange little people.
Yee yo ying dong ying dong ying dong ying dong ying dong little po,
playing and spinning and dancing and fiddling and playing the invisible air banjo. Ring ding ding ring ding ding ring ding 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 in the kitchen. Well, of course, by now Ethel and Bethel were wide awake. And they were shuddering in their beds. They were holding on to their bed sheets like this. Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What do we do? And their first thought, of course, wasn't, we've got burglars. No, they knew exactly what they had done. Oh no, we left the Feetwater in the tub. How irresponsible are we? What are we going to do? I know, said Ethel, in a higher pitched voice. I know, said Ethel. I think one of us should go and see the wise woman. Aha, you see? The wise woman. Do you remember the wise woman? Every village had one. The wise woman, the person you would ask if it was going to rain tomorrow. The wise woman, you know the wise woman, the only person who knows the bus timetable. The wise woman, yes, Verity Google. I think you should go and see Verity Google. She'll know what to do, said Ethel. Well, Bethel, she was very, very brave. I didn't say that earlier, but she was very, very brave. So she crept down the stairs, and she could hear them in the kitchen. Ying dong, ying dong, ying dong, ying dong, ying dong, ying like po, ring ding 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 ding, diddly 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 fiddly diddly, yippee I yay, to me to you, ha 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 ha, fiddly diddly die, etc., etc., etc. They could hear all this going on in the kitchen. She opened the door. She knew the only way she could get out of the house was to walk through the middle of them, and she was feeling very brave. She took a deep breath, and like I say, she opened the door, and the moment she opened the door, everything stopped. The spinning stopped, the dancing stopped, the fiddling stopped. It was just like in a western. You know, when the cowboy walks into the bar, they've been playing the piano, they've been singing and dancing, women have been dancing on the tables, everyone's like this, the door opens, and everything goes quiet. It was just like that. All the eyes of the little people just stared at Bethel. You've been working very hard, said Bethel, trying hard to stop her heart from beating loudly. You've been working so hard, you must be really, really thirsty. I'll go make you a nice cup of tea if you want. I'll just go and milk the cow. Maybe we've got some bourbon biscuits. Bye. And she went out the door, and straight away, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying like oh, fiddly diddly diddly diddly, back to work, spinning, spinny, 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 spinny. They went. Well, of course she didn't go milk the cow. No. She went straight, as fast as she could, to the wise woman's house to see Verity Google. When she got there, she was absolutely exhaustified. Verity, the water, the tub, spilt, the floor, the door opened, little people everywhere, spinning wheels, wool, help me. Hold on, dear. Now, would you please repeat what on earth is going on, sweetheart? I don't understand. Will you just calm down for a moment? Oh, well, we left the water. We left the water. The water, you know, the foot water. You did what? You silly girl. You left the foot water in the foot tub. How could you be so irresponsible? Carry on, dear. Yes, well, we left the foot water in the tub, and all these little people are now in our house. Oh, I see. Yes, they're definitely Feetwater Fairies. You want to be careful about the Feetwater Fairies. You should have been a bit more responsible, my dear. You really, really should have got rid of that water. Well, Feetwater Fairies, what they love to do is they love to do lots and lots of spinning. You probably realise that by now. They spin and spin loads of yarn to make lots and lots of string. And they tie it round things, yeah. They tie it round your chair legs. They tie it round your table legs. If you're standing in the room, they'll tie it round your legs. They just like tying things together. They're really, how would you say, you young people? Oh, yeah, they're really quite random. Is that what you say? Oh, I guess so, but what can I do about it? Well, my dear, I'll just whisper in your ear for the moment, just in case you lot outside are listening. We don't want you listening right now. Bing! Got it! Oh, thank you, Verity Google, said Bethel, and as quickly as she could, she ran all the way back to her home. And again, she could hear outside, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying tong, ying po, fiddly diddly diddly ding, ring ding 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 ding. I should have the hat on, sorry. Ring ding diddly ding ding ding, ring ding diddly ding. But she opened the door, and again, a cowboy western moment. Whoosh, everything quiet. Then one of them shouted at her, "Tea! Tea!" Is my hat straight? Thank you. No, it's wonky, isn't it? Tea! Tea! You promised us tea! And another one joined in. Tea! Tea! You promised us tea!
Tea, tea, you promised us tea. Tea, tea, you promised us tea. Where's our tea? Where's our tea? Tea, tea, you promised us tea. Where's our tea? Where's our tea? And they all joined in together. Tea, tea, we promised us tea. You promised us tea. Ha, 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 ha. We want our tea now, right now. Where is our tea?
Then Bethel repeated the wise words, or hang on, the wise woman's words, or the wise words of the wise woman. These were magical words. This was strong, strong magic. She said, "Flippity, tippity, pickety pee, leave my house now, for there is no tea." And straight away, because these were such words of wisdom and strong magic, the little people, they began to twitch like this. They began to scratch. They began to make angry faces. Smoke started coming out of their ears, but they couldn't stop themselves. They started to pack up all their things. They stopped spinning. They put the spinning wheels under their arms, and slowly they stomped towards the door with huge, angry expressions on their faces. They opened the door, and then they just vanished. Just like that. Where they went, I have absolutely no idea. Well, Bethel called up to Ethel. "Ethel, Ethel, the coast is clear." Ethel came down the stairs, and Ethel and Bethel together, they mopped the floor. They took the mop outside, just like Verity Google had asked them to, and they squeezed the feet water onto the hearth, the bit just outside the door. So it soaked down into the ground. They then ran back in, took the bucket into the shed, put it upside down like that, put a great big rock on top of it, closed the shed door, went back into the house, closed all the windows, closed all the curtains, closed all the doors. Phew! We've done it. We've done it. But then they waited. Tick, tock, tick, tock, and waited. Tick, tock, tick, tock. But after 10 minutes, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. They were scratching at the door again. And the little voices said,
"Feetwater, Feetwater, spill on the floor. Feetwater, Feetwater, open the door. Feetwater, Feetwater, let us all in. We need to dance and play and to spin."
But then the water replied, little people, I can't let you in. I'm deep in the ground, where I belong. I'm under your feet, where you now stand. And from this house, you'll always be banned. Now, go. But the feet water then, underneath them, turned into mud, because the little people started stomping on the ground like this. They stomped on the earth in their little barefoot feet feet that are bare. They stomped and they stomped and they stomped and they stomped and they thrashed and they crashed their feet on the floor, making it into a great big muddy swamp, and that made them angrier and angrier. The mud splashed up onto their nice little clothes, splashed up onto their faces. They got angrier and angrier. It splashed into their beards, it splashed into their hair, it splashed into their bonnets, it splashed into their little hats. They got covered in mud and they were so angry, but they couldn't do anything. They couldn't go back into the house, and they ran all the way back home, wherever that is. Oh, peace at last. Ethel and Bethel dragged themselves, they schlepped their way up the stairs. They crept into bed and they slept like rocks. And they even had a lie-in, because the cow didn't complain once. But you know something? Never again did they forget to empty away the feet water. Well, my friends, Thank you for listening to this rather peculiar story. I hope you enjoyed it. But for now, allow me to say, please stay safe, please stay healthy, please look after each other, and of course, TTFN.